Hi folks, in a recent video I demonstrated how to execute the basic strum of uppicking, otherwise known as the Seeger style on the 5-string banjo, named for Pete Seeger, who popularized this style. And that video has received a pretty good response, so I figured I'd make a sequel video showing some possibilities for getting beyond the bump ditty in uppicking. And I'm going to show you 3 possibilities for that today. The first is to change the bum of the bum ditty, or the long note, into 2 short notes using either a slide, a pull, or a hammer-on. The second possibility is to replace the entire bum ditty with a 4-note roll. And then the third possibility is to replace the brush of the bum ditty with just a single note played by uppicking on a string. And to do that, I'm going to use good old Cripple Creek. So let's get the banjo into the standard G tuning, if you're not already there, with the top string or the 5th string tuned to a high G. Then from 4th to 1st, it's B, G, B, and D again. Okay, so G, D, G, B, D. Now let's start by just working with the first 2 measures of the A part of Cripple Creek. In fact, I'm not going to do the B part today. Let's look at the A part of Cripple Creek, because we can demonstrate all 3 of these possibilities just in the first part here. Well, basic melody line for the A part of Cripple Creek in the first couple measures goes something like this. Start on the open G chord, I go quickly to a partial C chord and end up on D as the last note. Well, if I put that into claw hammer, one way to arrange that is something like this. Or if I put it into 2-finger, I might do something like this. Or if I put it into 3-finger picking, I might go something like this. Or in all 3 cases there, I dressed it up with embellishments, pinches, drop, thumb, pull-offs, whatnot, slides. It sounded like normal Cripple Creek. If I just did it with the basic strum of uppicking, it's going to sound very plain vanilla, very unadorned. It'd be something like this. So all I'm doing there is getting a few of the melody notes. I don't really have anything in there. It's not too exciting. Now, just doing the basic strum like that might be fine for vocal backup if you're singing lyrics to Cripple Creek. I've got to get up on the creek. Works just fine. And in fact, that's one of the beautiful things about uppicking. It's a great vocal backup style. But if you want to play a little bit more of a banjo solo, we need to put some more stuff into it. So let's take a look at how we put those 3 different things into Cripple Creek to make it sound a little more like Cripple Creek, if you will. Well, let's start with measure 1 in the 2nd bump ditty. And what we're going to do is replace that bum of the bum ditty with a pull-off on the 2nd string. So just playing the normal bum ditty is 2 bum ditties there to get going in that first measure. Now what we want to do is when we get to that 2nd bum ditty, which is just played on the open 1st string, we want to go down to the 2nd string, 3rd fret, and we're going to pluck up on that. And if you think about it, that note, that's a D note, is the same as the open 1st string. But what we're going to do is pluck on that, and before we execute the brush, we're going to pull off. So we're going to change that long note into 2 short notes. So it's both bum ditties are still there. It's just that I threw this pull off into the 2nd one. And if I put that together with the 2nd measure, it's already sounding better. It's just got a little bit more life to it. Okay, secondly, here's an alternate possibility to playing that 2nd bump ditty, which is rather than using a pull-off there, we're going to replace the entire bum ditty with this 4-note roll. And the 4-note roll is going to be played by finger, plucking up, thumb coming down, then finger up again, and thumb down. So finger, thumb, finger, thumb. And the strings we're going to play are just going to be the open first, second, and fifth strings. And the order is going to be first with the finger, second with the thumb, first again with the finger, and then fifth string with the thumb. So the roll pattern is going to go. Here's that first measure, just with the normal bum ditties. Now here's that first measure with a bum ditty followed by the 4-note roll pattern. Sounds pretty good. If I put that with the second measure, we've got so this is just a different way of approaching the second bum ditty in the first measure. We could do it with a pull off on the second string, or we could just replace that entire bum ditty with this 4-note roll pattern. And what we're doing here is we're allowing the thumb to come off the fifth string. In the basic strum, the thumb just stays on the fifth string for the T of the bum ditty and is just always playing that as a drone note. But here we're allowing it to drop down to the second string to create this roll pattern. If you're a clawhammer player, I'm sure you'll recognize this 1-2-1-5 roll pattern is the basic drop thumb pattern of clawhammer. And if you're a 3-finger player, this is generally called the Dillard or the Missouri roll after Doug Diller, who used it a whole lot. So 1-2-1-5, 1-2-1-5. So this is a very common roll pattern in both clawhammer as well as 3-finger picking, and it's a pattern we can use in up picking as well. It's a question of which fingers you use and the direction the fingers are going. And of course in up picking it's up, down with the thumb, up, and then down with the thumb again. So we're still up picking here. Pete Seeger, by the way, called this double thumbing. And again, if you're a clawhammer player, double thumbing means something different. It means hitting a string on a downstroke and then hitting the fifth string after that, hitting another string on the downstroke followed by a fifth string. And drop thumb is just really a special case of double thumbing. But anyway, don't get tripped up by this. If you come across Pete Seeger's How to Play the 5-String Banjo book, you'll see in there he's talking about double thumbing, and what he really means in clawhammer speak is drop thumbing. The terminology in folk music isn't very consistent, so I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. I'll just call it the 1-2-1-5 roll pattern and avoid all that terminology that just tends to trip people up. One other thing about this, notice that we're replacing the entire bum ditty. You might think, well, can't I pick up, drop my thumb down to the second string and then do the brush 5 after that? You can sort of, but what that does, it throws off the basic motion of the basic stroke or the bum ditty. And let me walk you through that. So if I pick up, my finger's up, I certainly can come down with my thumb on the second string to play that second short note, but then I have to do the brush 5, and since my thumb came down on the second string, I have to now reset my hand and then do the brush 5. So that's a different mechanical motion than the normal basic stroke. The basic stroke is up, down, and here I'm doing up, down, down. So it really changes, as I said, the basic mechanics of the stroke. You can execute it, but when you do this up to speed, there's a good chance it's going to throw your timing off and throw your rhythm off. So in general, it's just better to replace the basic stroke with this entire 4-note roll. And I'm planting my finger there is kind of going back to 3-finger picking or 2-finger picking, but thirdly, we can move to measure 2, which starts on a C chord, and if we take the first bum ditty there, we can replace the brush with just a single note on the first string. So here's the second measure. played with just the bum ditties. Notice that I'm holding down a partial C chord here, and open. And rather than playing the brush on that partial C chord, what I'm going to do is pluck the second string fretted for the long note, and then I'm going to pluck the first string fretted for the dit of the ditty, followed by the fifth string. So I've gotten rid of the brush there so I can play a melody note instead. Again, we're just putting more of the melody in the song. So the bum and the dit can be finger up picks rather than finger and a brush. And you can do that in many places. Putting the whole thing together, the first two measures, here's what we have. That was with the pull-off. We can also do that with the 4-note roll. One more time. So we've dressed it up a little bit, added more character to it. It's not quite so plain vanilla. And I don't think we need to do much more of that first two measures of the A part to make it sound good. Let's take a look at the last two measures of the A part, which goes down on the third and the fourth strings. If I just played that with the basic stroke, bum ditty of up picking it. Pretty plain vanilla. If I played it in claw hammer, it'd typically come off something like this. Or two finger. Or three finger. Something like that. So in these other styles, we add in all these embellishments, a Cripple Creek slide as we call it, a pull off, and even a hammer there. Well, guess what? We can put all those things right into up picking and the basic stroke. So all we're really going to do here is change the bum of the bum ditties to two short notes using a slide and then a pull off and then a hammer. So let's get into that. Just like with the other styles, we can kick off that first measure by sliding from the second fret of the third string up to the fourth fret, and then continue with the whole bum ditty structure. So we can go. Okay, so added in something already. The second thing we can do is we do the slide brusha, and then we do a pull-off brusha on the second fret of the third string. So slide, brusha, pull off, brusha. Start to sound more like Cripple Creek. It normally sounds. And then the last thing is when we go down to the fourth string, we can hammer onto the second fret of the fourth string, just like we did in the three-finger style or the two-finger style. So we can do. So we still have the bum ditty structure there. All we're doing is changing the bum into two short notes using first a slide, then a pull off, and then a hammer. Sounds like Cripple Creek. Here's the whole A part with all these different possibilities in it. Good old Cripple Creek in up-picking Seeger style with some embellishments in it. Sounds like it's supposed to. There it is. Let's sum this up. Again, I've introduced three possibilities for getting beyond the bum ditty in up-picking style. The first is to insert pulls or slides or hammers into the bum ditty structure, replacing the bum or the long note with one of those techniques, changing the long note into effectively two short notes. The second possibility is replace the entire bum ditty with a 4-note roll, that 1-2-1-5 roll, used by playing finger, thumb, finger, thumb. And then the third possibility is to replace the brush in the bum ditty with just a single note up pick, so we get a little bit more of a melody structure there rather than that big brushy structure. Try these techniques out, apply it to the B part of Cripple Creek, which is pretty much like the last two measures of the A part. I think you can figure that out. And then experiment with other songs. Work out a song with a basic strum bum ditty structure, and then start thinking about where you can put in these three different possibilities. You just need to figure out what works and where. There you have it. Have fun with it, and as always, just keep on picking.